Season 5 of Diablo 4 is in full swing, and a lot of people are wondering should they go back for the season, and the answer is yes and yes. Wait, two yeses? Why that? Well, the first yes is for all the cool gameplay mechanics and new events they basically put into Season 5, and we will talk about that in a minute. The second part is actually about something I didn't expect, and that is the story. Yes, the season has a short story again, but this time what they are doing is they are linking the base game with the expansion Vessel of Hatred coming out in 3 months. So if you want to know what leads up to the events of Vessel of Hatred, you should definitely play the season and not miss out on it. But let's talk about it. So as I said, this season is actually linking the story with Vessel of Hatred. And no, I will not spoiler it. If you want to experience it yourself, there are no spoilers here. But it is very interesting to see that this season is actually like tackling the fallout of the things you did in Diablo 4 in the main game, right? And in the story. And it's not just tackling what happened because of that, but it's also going into the direction of, oh, so this is why we are going into this new region. This is why we are following Nirel, and this is why probably shit hits the fan, right? So yes, you definitely want to play this. If you're just interested in the story, it would take you about, I would say, 4 hours because you have to level a little bit. It's not just going through the story and be done with it. You have to reach like certain milestones before you can continue to push the story. But this is definitely the first time Blizzard has managed it in this way. And it is so much interesting because this is actually affecting the story of Diablo 4. Yes, we had season before that where they had a story, right? But most of the time nobody cared. It didn't have any effects of the world of Diablo. It was just like, oh no, there's this new thing which is really evil and you have already killed it. Okay, cool, thanks. Right, like that was mostly the story of the other seasons. But in this one, they are really starting to write a very interesting premise. And again, why in the end we are going into Vessel of Hatred, and you should definitely not miss out on that. But enough of the story. Let's talk about gameplay. Man, Season 4 was really the right step in the right direction. They made so many very important base changes to the game that a lot of people thought, can they really top that? I mean, they have now mostly fixed all the issues. What else can they do? Well, Season 5 is coming around, and you realize, oh, there was apparently a lot they can still fix. And they did. They did a lot of quality of life improvements to the new features they introduced to Season 4. But they also introduced the Hell Tides, which is like a really, or not the Hell Tides, the Hell Tides already existed before. The Legions of Hell, right? Where you now have a compass, and when you're activating that compass, you're being thrown in a dungeon, which is just a room. There's nothing really else there, right? It's just a room. And that starts hundreds and hundreds of demons just trying to murder you. And you have to survive, but also you have to kill as many demons as possible in, what is it, 2 minutes, 3 minutes takes a round. And then afterwards, you collect a specific resource you can then later use to get like a lot of resources for crafting, or get like a lot of items or even gold if you have some leftovers, which is really neat. But the really interesting part is happening between the waves, where you are being presented with three choices which will alter the next waves to come. So it's a bit like a roguelike, a little bit like Hades, and if you have ever played that, where you are standing in front of the doors and you have to choose now, okay, which door do I want? What do I have to face to get a certain reward afterwards, right? And you are doing the same thing in that room. And then after you have done 6 waves, you have to defeat the council, which is just a bunch of demons, which are like a little bit stronger, but not really a big problem. And then you're murdering them. And after you have done that, you get the loot. It's quite fun. It's pretty quick. It's the most mindless stuff I have ever done, I think, and it's great. Just it's just great. Like Blizzard sometimes has this problem that they're trying to make their end game very complicated, right? And they are trying to make you do a lot of integrate things, and you have to plan around this, and this could happen, and you have to plan that. Doesn't happen in this one. It's just there are 100 demons coming at you. You better have a lot of DPS and a lot of AoE. Go get them, right? And you don't really think. You don't really think. And I love that. I love those mindless events sometimes. And I think that's just perfect. And I think they have done pretty well. Also, that you have some really high difficulty. Like, I am just in tier two, right? And I'm dominating tier two. Dominating tier two is not really that hard. And then I was like, you know what? I should probably go into tier three because tier two is too easy and I got my ass handed to me in tier three. And you can go up till I think it's what, tier six, tier eight? I always forget. You can go pretty high and it goes significantly tougher the higher you go, which is really nice. The only thing you only do a little bit at the beginning and then you completely stop doing it is like the hell dungeons. So there are now specific dungeons for the seasons where you can go in, and they are like a mini dungeon of the rogue like you are playing with the compass, right? It's like a mini version of that. And you only do that at the beginning to get a few of the compass, and then you're good. Then you have enough. You can produce enough yourself. You don't have to go into those dungeons. And I haven't been there for hours and hours, which is a bit unfortunate. But hey, as I said, I like when Blizzard doesn't make too convoluted endgame events, right? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The one thing I have to say, which I'm not too happy about, or well, not too happy about, I don't care too much, is Blizzard told us that they buffed the bosses, right? And so the world bosses will not die in 5 seconds anymore. They're right. They haven't lied about that. They have actually done that. So the bosses do not die in 5 seconds anymore. They now die in 30 seconds, which is an improvement, but still very quickly. Like the damage the players are doing is just insane, right? And the most people are not even using a cookie cutter build, which again, it's not game breaking. I'm not like thinking, oh man, this sucks. It's just, you know what, Blizzard, you can crank this up a little bit more, I think. Speaking about cranking up things, I want to make another video about this, but I want to mention it anyways. They basically have solidified something they started to do with Season 4, and that is the basic attacks. If you are not going for a specific basic attack build, you're not using them anymore. And as great as that is, because I'm not really a fan of the basic attacks, I think they're pretty boring and they should do something else with it. It's still rather weird that you still have to put 2 points into the basic attacks before you can even go down on your talent tree, and then you're running around with this thing nobody is really using anymore if you're not running a specific build with it, which is a bit unfortunate. They are running into similar issues with the ultimates. Yes, there are builds which are using ultimates because they are the main piece sometimes of that build, but there are just so many builds out there who completely ignore the ultimates, which is also really unfortunate. So I'm hoping not that they are making them mandatory again, but I would like to see them more as an option again, or for the base attacks, just swap them out for something else. Use the core attacks as your basic attacks, right? And put in a new category which is offering us some interesting versatility, right? Or some interesting damage or something like that. But right now, the basic attacks are whatever, because energy management doesn't really exist anymore. Like, I had some issues with the rogue at the beginning when it comes to energy management, but the moment I started to have some items, I have full energy 24/7. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. And the same goes for other classes as well. The moment you start to get some items, energy doesn't matter anymore, which I'm okay with, right? That's what everyone wanted, me included. I'm just saying, then give me something else for the basic attacks I don't need anymore as a buffer, right? But nonetheless, I really enjoy this season, and I highly recommend it, even if it's just for the story. Do not miss out on it. It's definitely the best season Blizzard has ever done, and it seems like they have finally found their rhythm for the seasons. And I'm now curious to see where the journey goes with the expansion and what we are getting there in the long run. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And also, if you're new to the channel, you want to see me cover more Diablo, more RPGs, which is exactly what we are doing here on the Mole RP channel, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe.